Hello and welcome back to Tesla News. My name is Marian and I'm your host today. Today we will cover many interesting facts when it comes to the question where the future of Tesla will be, in which country the most money will be made, where will be the epic center of the business of Tesla. And we will dive into that. We will look into a short interview from Elon Musk just a few days ago. And we will look into that and we will further dive into some statistics when it comes to the income of different countries and regions in the world and what this means for Tesla and why I believe one country will be the major factor here of the success of Tesla in the future. And if you like that, if you subscribe my channel, you give me support for my work, and I hope you follow me for my daily updates now. And don't forget to come back for another video tomorrow, as always, to my daily updates. So let's look into the video.
What attracts me most about China's 5-year plan is the tremendous commitment to a low-carbon economy and ultimately to a sustainable energy economy. In the 5-year plan, China is committed to reach peak carbon emissions sooner than 2030 and to have a sustainable energy economy by 2060. These are very aggressive goals, and I think they're great goals, I wish more countries actually had these goals. I'm very confident about Tesla's future in China. The Chinese economy, I think, is going to do extremely well over the next decade and will become the biggest economy in the world. And it's also committed to a sustainable energy future, and Tesla is doing both of those things. So we're building cars. We have China, I think long term will be our biggest market, both where we make the most number of vehicles and where we have the most number of customers. I would like to strike an optimistic note and say that I'm very confident that the future in China is going to be great, and that China is headed towards being the biggest economy in the world and a lot of prosperity in the future. And this 5-year plan is going to be a part of making that prosperity happen.
So guys, let's dive into some numbers here and let's look into the income in China. So if we dive into the income in the major cities in China, we do see, based on the US dollar range, it is actually not as low as many people who are not informed think it is. There are some great numbers here, some great average salaries that people earn that have a good education, a good degree, and a good level in a job. And we do see that here is a really good income that can drive a lot of money into owning a Tesla, owning a Model Y. And looking at the Giga Shanghai, thanks to Vuva for the content here, we do see that's the main reason why Tesla is expanding in China. And I believe, the same as Elon Musk just said, that China might be the biggest market which Tesla will be dealing with. And despite the fact that in the US we do have now a second factory built, so Giga Austin and Giga Fremont will be initially built here. So when Giga Austin is ready, of course the market share and the volume of cars in the United States will massively increase. But despite that, I think that Giga Shanghai will further expand, and they're currently working on that. And it's not only Giga Shanghai when it comes to the cars, it will be also the energy business that can really make a lot of money in China, which is barely talked about yet. And they have, of course, the supercharger production here to further expand the supercharging network in China, which is needed based on the demand they have in China. And just the 100K orders in 24 hours for the Model Y just show how much need for electric cars are there, because the people of China, they follow mostly their government, and the government has set the goals, as Elon just said, and they are setting the goal to go into green energy, go into electric cars. Of course, the competition might come in from the Chinese startups that might slowly pick up, but still they are already behind Tesla. Just the one venture that is selling the car of worth $5,000, but that's another story. So a part of that, Tesla is really establishing itself on the Chinese market, is getting loyal customers, a nice brand awareness despite all the issues they were facing in the past weeks. So when we look into the future here, there is no competition at all. The only competition, the only thing that Tesla really has to deal with is, of course, the Chinese government, to be in a good relationship with them and working everything out when there are issues. But as long as this relationship works well, I don't see any limit for Tesla in China. And always remember, even though if the demand at any point would be lower as the capacity of the factory, which I don't believe, there's still a huge market when it's come to exporting cars to Australia, to Indonesia, to the other Asian countries. Even if they wouldn't build a factory in India, they could export the cars over there. And the plans to go with a 25K model are just showing how bad they go inside. So let's look at Europe, and you just see the numbers of income here spread over European countries. And what we do see is that, of course, some countries have people earning a lot more than in China. But when we look at other countries in the east side or in the south, we do see that the income is not so much more as in China. So looking at Giga Berlin, almost done. We are in the final steps here, and thanks to Tobias Lind, I must honestly say in Germany and other European countries, we do have a high tax on the income. We do have a lot of cities really close connected, and a lot of people using trains, public transportation. Especially in Germany, a lot of people do use public transportation because a car is pretty expensive. You have to pay for the garage, you have to pay the taxes, etc., etc. And the infrastructure for charging your own car when you don't own a house is not there yet. So again, there are a lot of issues to solve in the German market. And of course, I don't say there is no demand. I'm not saying that in Europe there won't be any demand. I think the demand will be really good. But in the long term, I think the amount of revenue being done in China will outpace the European market, because a lot of younger people in Europe are actually not so interested in cars anymore. And VW has experienced that many years now, for the past 5-6 years, that younger people, they live in the city, they use public transportation. And I think for the European market, it will be really interesting when the Model 2 or the 25K model comes. That's like a price range where a lot of people get interested that might not buy a car right now. Again, I think it's a really good idea to go into the SUV market, the market where the German car makers do make the most money with, and then starting with the Model 3 market later on. Again, I'm not saying here that there is no demand. I don't say that there's too much competition. I think there's a lot of market to make money with here, but I personally believe that China will outpace here the European market when it comes to the number of cars, etc., etc. And of course, that's just based on the volume. As we all know, there are so many more people living in China. Looking at the average income in Europe, in the United States, we do see a slightly higher income when it comes to the dollar range, but we do see that there is the same amount of money approximately that the most people earn. It really depends in the United States where you live, but I think in the United States, in a country where a car is part of the lifestyle, and as I just mentioned, that is changing in Europe, comparing that to the United States. In the United States, it's really lifestyle to have a car. A lot of distances are taken by car because it's not so much train infrastructure and public transportation infrastructure like in Europe. So I do think it makes a lot of sense to have the Giga Austin here. Without a doubt, I believe that a lot of people don't realize yet how big the market share of Tesla will be in the United States once they get this big beast, as Elon Musk mentioned, really going here in the United States. I mean, if really the Giga Austin is going with full power forward, it will be really scary for any other car company out there, and I don't see anything really happening. I mean, we do see some new cars here selling in the United States, but again, Tesla is already on top of its game here, and they are not even open with the Giga Austin. So it's it's really in the United States, I do think there will be a big market for Tesla, but again, just based on the volume, I mean the population numbers, you cannot compare that to China. So just based on the economy in China and the enormous amount of people getting slowly more money, more income, generating wealth, I think the volume of cars and SUVs and Model 2s, which hopefully come soon, will be really driving the revenue to Tesla here. Again, I'm also not saying that the United States will not be an interesting market here anymore. It's the home market of Tesla, and I believe a lot of new products like the Tesla Semi, like the Cybertruck, like the Tesla Roadster, these are perfect products for the United States, and we still have to see if those products that have a much higher average price, if they go in high volume out, of course it could drive the revenue further. I think it will still take a lot of time till Tesla is really making more money in China than in the United States and Europe combined, and they are starting now to ramp up soon in Giga Berlin. So we really have to see how that goes, but please let me know your own opinion if you really think that the Tesla will be making the most money in China. So I hope you did enjoy my video, and I hope you have a wonderful day, guys.